Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another Golden Shovel webinar. We are going to be just giving it a couple minutes to allow for people to join. Hope everyone is having a great day. I cannot believe it's the middle of August. I know chatting with some of our clients and colleagues, some of you even have back to school next week, which is crazy. Time is going by fast. And if you have questions throughout this webinar, you'll be able to add them to the chat. So no problem there. We will definitely make sure every question is answered at the end. And there's also going to be a recording of this. So if you need to drop off at any point, you are able to do so and you'll get the recording afterwards. I see our numbers are increasing, so people are definitely still joining. It's great to have you guys here. All right, it's 1:03, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know me, I am Bethany Quinn, president of Golden Shovel, and I am so excited to be here today with one of our partners, Strom from Blue Dot. For those who have downloaded a lot of our white papers over the past year or so, you've probably seen quite a few references to Blue Dot. They are an organization that we are highly recommending for anyone who is aggressively trying to tackle business retention and expansion. They have an incredible CRM tool that makes it so much easier to do that on a daily basis. So we highly recommend them. At the same time, there is so much more that Blue Dot can do to also help turn your website into a lead generation machine. So we're going to talk about that specifically today and how our tools and their tools can integrate to help you capture more leads from all the incredible work that you're doing to market your community. So Liev, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Bethany. Excited to be here.
Great. All right, let's get going. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So for those of you who are not familiar with Golden Shovel, we are a full service economic development strategy and marketing company. So we work with over 400 economic development organizations across the country. And one of the things we try to do is bring you best practices, new technology, and solutions to help make your life and your job easier so you can focus on making impacts for your community. Next slide. And we have worked with incredible communities across the country, helping them to attract mega projects, like you see here in Falls City with their $5 billion attraction project, to FDI attraction projects, like is referenced here for Covington County and for communities that we represent throughout the country. And that's obviously why we want to bring in Blue Dot to see how we can generate more leads for you guys through your digital strategy. All right, next slide. Okay, so why do we want to focus on digital for lead generation? Well, first of all, it is affordable compared to sending people to massive amounts of trade shows and doing a lot of outbound activity, which is great to do if you have the budget. But we understand that in economic development, budgets can be constrained, right? So how do we still generate leads if you don't have the budget to do those things? Well, that's where your digital first approach comes in. So digital is more affordable. It's able to be coordinated. You can have your campaigns working together seamlessly, and you can measure the results. That's something that we know is very important for our clients. For example, a lot of economic developers previously put significant amount of money behind print ads, and they're not doing that as much anymore just because it can be difficult to measure the return and to really capture any leads that come from viewing those ads. That's where some of these Blue Dot tools are really exciting because you can actually capture some of the information coming in through your advertising strategy. But before we talk about tools, I want to remind everyone that a digital first strategy, it's still really important to go back to the basics and consider, who do you want to reach? You need to be as specific as possible with your target audience because you need to know, what do they want to know? Right? Your target audience has questions. They need information. They're looking for a guide. They're looking for a resource. And ultimately, that's what you are as an economic developer. So consider the questions that they may want to ask because you're going to need to provide those answers through your digital approach, right? Through your website, through your ads, through your social media. What do they care about? And how does your organization and community meet those needs? So remember, before you launch anything, this is what you need to start with. Know who you want to reach specifically, right? It's not just, I want to reach businesses. What types of businesses? Who in the organization do you want to reach? What does that individual want to know? What questions do they have? What information do they need? And what do they care about that you have the solution for? So start there before you do anything, before you spend any money, because that's going to help you have better results. All right, next slide. And then we want to talk about how do you actually get people to your website? So we are really recommending that you look at how Google Ads have shifted and are powered by AI. There is a lot of ways to increase your ROI right now by shifting to ads that are been vetted by AI, for example, and using things like Performance Max on Google that can help drive even better results. We've seen massive increases in visits from digital ads because of these new AI tools. Go ahead. All right. And again, how is AI Max helpful? Well, once you have your target audience input, then it's able to use smart matching and real-time learning. So that's some of the benefits of some of these AI enhancements is that changes can be made faster to your campaigns to make sure that they're reaching your truly desired target audience and really driving that traffic through to your site. And there's also ways to leverage AI for ideas, right? So if you know who your audience is and what they care about, you can type in some ideas and Performance Max is going to help you to be able to come up with creative that they think is going to capture more attention. And this frees up more of your time for strategy and testing versus spending all of your time on the ad development itself. And then, of course, you're able to leverage AI to give you even more search insights to make sure that when you're spending money on ads, you're actually going to reach the right people and you're going to inspire them to take action. And of course, the goal is to drive them through to your website, right? So we're going to be talking about Blue Dot tools today, but Blue Dot tools have to have somewhere to live, right? And that is your economic development website. And this is your modern platform for storytelling. We want to make sure that your value proposition is really clear, your why. I recorded a podcast yesterday where I mentioned this again. You've all probably heard me say it a million times. Whatever you do, make sure that you cannot take your community name out of that sentence and put in anybody else's, right? Your value proposition needs to be incredibly specific to you. And we also recommend that any of the websites that we build at Golden Shovel, we make sure there are dynamic maps because there's a good chance that your community name also is located in another state, right? So we need to make sure that you are situated so everyone understands who they're looking at and evaluating. Of course, we want to make sure that your sites are featured prominently because those are your assets that you're selling if you're doing business attraction and trying to capture leads, right? You have to tell your workforce story because if you have an available site, but you don't have any talent or any plan to develop talent, then it's going to be difficult for a business to believe they're going to be able to operate once there. And we want you to be able to generate leads from your site, right? It should not just be information sharing, but if your ad campaign is working well, people are driven to your website, we want you to capture those leads so that you don't miss the opportunity to cultivate and nurture them to actually get businesses and developers to come into your community. And that's what Blue Dot's going to be showing you today. And then, of course, we want to be able to use data tools to educate, to make sure that you're answering those questions and providing the information that your target audience cares about. And integrate AI, of course, we've been talking about that quite a bit. You can integrate AI into your ad strategy, but also you need to make sure that your website content is written for AI as much as it's written for humans. Just because we know that so many people are using AI as their search tool now, right? Instead of going to Google, they're going into an LLM to ask their questions and get them answered. We want to make sure that you're also using video so you can really capture attention and you can paint a picture of the opportunities in your community. And of course, compelling visuals are part of that story. All right, next slide. Okay, so we know that your website is your door to the world. So you need to make sure that you are communicating that you want to do business, right? If your whole idea is to capture leads, to generate leads, you need to make sure that your website conveys that. So we recommend that you make sure you make your capabilities clear front and center, and that you also provide really easy ways to get in touch with you and contact you. Don't bury that information. Don't bury your contact information, because it's going to be really hard for people to stay on your site and actually make a connection if you do. And make sure that you continue to provide updated, relevant data points so that people can really quickly and easily see that you're a community they want to do business with. And make sure you back up the data with storytelling, because the data only paints a part of the picture, right? We talked about workforce, for example. It's really important you convey the stories that go with it to show what you're doing to create additional capacity. And now I'm really excited for you to see how Blue Dot can help you take your lead generation game to the next level.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leaf. I have been our Director of Customer Success at Blue Dot for the last 5 years. So I've helped manage all of our community relationships all over the country as they build up BRNE strategies, as they come to us and have already developed a BRNE strategy and are just looking for a tool to be able to maintain business records, communicate with businesses, track projects, all that fun stuff. So seen it in all levels, whether it be large economic development teams as well as teams of one, teams of 0.5. So we've gone all over the place in terms of helping economic development organizations develop their strategy, keep track of businesses, and have one centralized location for everything. So Blue Dot, we offer 3 different services. We have a CRM, which is our internal database. So any of the business retention expansion work that you do, this is the place for all of that lives. It's your internal system for all team members to be able to keep everything in one central location. We also can supplement your CRM with a database provided by Blue Dot. So what that means is that we can help populate business hours. We can find new businesses. We're seeing businesses that might be closing in your community. We're also able to identify additional metrics such as the employee count of these businesses, the sectors that these businesses are in, and have them all populated onto the profile. So if you have a combination of maybe your business license data and the Blue Dot records, we merge everything into one. So we don't have a bunch of duplicate spreadsheets floating around. We have one central location where everything lives that everyone can access. We also have a public-facing business directory. So that's one of the pieces that can go onto your website, where you can display all of the businesses that are public facing that you want to showcase in your community when you're looking at even attracting people who might be interested in moving into your town. So we have 3 different systems and they all work really seamlessly together, which is really nice that you don't have to maintain different systems for these things. So we have the 3 systems, again, that all play together. We hold one record for business with contact information, history, and all the interactions in one central location. So what that means is that that one record is also linked to your public-facing business directory. So you can link all your business visits and every survey that they've taken, as well as every document that you want to attach, projects that business has been part of. It's all linked to the public-facing business profile, so that if that business closes, you just have to close it in one location and we keep everything together. You don't have to remove it from 2 different sites on your website, plus the internal record. Also, to list a business, it works that same way. So it keeps everything centralized, and we only display the public-facing information that you want to display directly on your site. Additionally, into having those two profiles, obviously we can you can send group emails to those businesses. So if there's different groups of businesses that you want to segment, you can have projects located directly on the profile as shown here as well. And then you can also track any of your business visits. If you're doing referrals to other organizations, you're working with them on site selections, any part of the work that you do is always hard to be able to share externally, simply because there's a lot of soft touches and you're working on different projects in different locations. This is a really nice way that you'd be able to export all the business visits you do, how many site selections you got, how many new business inquiries you received in this last quarter, any of those things that are hard to quantify when it comes to sharing it with council. Blue Dot can help you be able to export and share that in a really easy way that showcases the work that you do rather than just a lot of the question marks that sometimes council has when it comes to what does economic development do. So the last part that I wanted to highlight is that Blue Dot, we were built specifically for economic development. So I know I mentioned that I've been here for 5 years, but we're built for economic development teams about 7 years ago. So then any of the reasons that we build features in the system, any of the configurations are really built not for a sales team specifically. I know a lot of sales funnels kind of operate similarly, but it's a lot more relationship based than it is on like aggressive sales goals when it comes to economic development. So we can help you with that storytelling on the relationship you have with those businesses because we built a system to specifically support economic development. So I know I mentioned the 3 tools that we have, but I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you a couple different examples in the system and I'll go through it. But this is our CRM system that I showed here. And then this is an example of how your directory can be directly embedded on your website. So we have the internal side that has all the, so many different things combined in one location, but the directory can be public facing and sit directly on your website. I love talking about Blue Dot, but nobody needs to know who Blue Dot is besides us who are on this call. Your community, we can just embed your directory directly on your website so they know it's really easy for you to want them to go directly to your site. We don't need to send them to a new location, which is why we really emphasize embedding the directory directly on your website. So we have different filters that you can use to search the system. So if you want to embed different views on different pages, super easy to be able to do that. You can search by different categories, which you can all customize to exactly what you'd be looking for. Like if your community has a ton of antique shops and that's one of the attractors that why people come to your community, then we'll make sure to have a category that includes that. But typically, any of the categories that we can populate automatically for you based on Google, we can easily do that directly for you. And you can use our categories as a launch pad to start. Since we can embed the directory directly on your website, it matches your site's look and feel. There's no separate portal to maintain. We can adjust the colors of our directory to match yours as well. And we have some font options as well that you can use. We know that the system will maintain current records because it pulls directly from the CRM businesses. So if a new business opens in the CRM, it's just one click for you to choose to list it on the public facing directory. And then anytime we are seeing new businesses closing, we pull those from a few different sources. But typically, as a economic developer, you find out sometimes that a business closed simply the same way that everybody else does by just Googling a business and seeing that it says permanently closed. So we can pull in all those statuses onto your CRM. We update that on a monthly basis. So if you're seeing businesses that close, we're removing them from the directory. So it's not something that we set it and forget it on the website and then you don't need to, nobody maintains that list. Since you're working in the CRM, it's automatically going to be updated. So you don't really need to even maintain 2 systems. So it's really simple that you don't have to go in, tell the website developer, ask them to remove a business, add businesses, everything's done on the CRM and it's automatically updated. The last piece on the directory is that businesses can submit edits to their profiles directly. So obviously, we try and pull as much information from public-facing sources, such as like the business hours, social media links, websites, all that information. We try and pull as much as we can from the web so that businesses don't need to go in and edit their profiles, but businesses can go in and submit edits as well. What that looks like is that a business would go on to the directory directly on your website. They could search their business name, and then they can request to make a change to a profile. We don't require logins because that would be a lot of work for you to have to tell businesses how to reset their password and such. But what they're prompted to do is give their name and email address when making a change. And you get an email that says, Matt made a change to his business, and then you can review it. No change goes live until you've pressed accept and that change goes live. But the really nice thing is that if a business makes a change to their profile, maybe they told us that their address has changed. That's also automatically going to update the CRM record as well. Since it's one database maintained between the two systems, any tweak is automatically going to update both systems. So it makes it really easy to get information directly from business owners and have your CRM also be current and updated as well. I think I saw a question. I'm just going to quickly see. Hi, Greta. Greta asked, is the CRM and directory bundled together, or do you choose which end of the systems you need access to? Yeah, so we do have a bundle that you can group both of them together, but they are also separate subscriptions if you're ready to start with one, and then maybe a year from now you'd want to add on the other subscription as well. So the directory is that's one of the pieces that we were talking about today, and I know Bethany mentioned a couple of these other things, but we can also embed our forms directly onto your site. So what that means is that if you want to have a lead generator for potentially new businesses that might be interested in doing business in the city of White House, Texas, or if you have incentive applications, grant applications, any of these forms that might be fillable PDFs, they might be PDFs that someone might need to fill out on paper and submit to the city. All of those different applications or new business inquiries, even just like businesses who might just need a general assistance and might just want to reach out to the city, they can all automatically submit those forms directly through your website. The reason this is so nice is that it will automatically create a project in our CRM if with an incentive application or a grant application, if they're uploading any sort of documents like the site plans, any of the, quotes that they've gotten for any of these grants, any of those documents that you need them to upload, which is usually quite a few, it'll automatically upload all those documents, attach them to their profile, create that project, and I'll walk you through what that looks like, and update their profile. If they tell us that there's a new point of contact, if they tell us their employee count has gone up, their address has changed, any of those changes, it'll automatically update the CRM, the directory, our maintained database, all directly through your site. So anyone who comes in, all they need to do is go to your site and find that business incentive application page and fill out the form. Since our survey builder tool that creates these forms pretty much works the same way as like a Google Forms or anything like that, we just go question by question to make sure that all of those are set up. And then line by line on anything they need to upload, and you can have those submissions automatically generated. Whoever on your team manages those programs or takes care of those, we can have them automatically receive an email and be assigned a task to make sure to follow up with them as those submissions come through. It makes it really simple for you when it comes to not needing to do manual entry, whether it be looking at a fillable PDF that someone might submit to you via email. Really easy for those things to get lost and scattered as there might be updated information on there. And most people don't think to go update a CRM record if they see that their address has changed or that their phone number has adjusted. Since there's no manual entry, there is much less opportunities for things to fall through the cracks since we're automatically populating the system and having a record of how many applications or how many new business inquiries we're receiving. With that, obviously leads to faster, better informed follow up because your team sees exactly what each business needs. Commonly, we see that business assistance forms or requests come in through a variety of sources, whether they come in directly from phone calls, they come into emails that are scattered. It doesn't necessarily go to one direct person. And emails don't necessarily always collect exactly what you want from that person, or phone calls, someone might just say, call me back. Honestly, sometimes it's loud in the background. You don't know exactly what they're saying or understand what the request is. So even if they fill out the form and you realize, oh, this should go to site selection, great. Like you can send it over to another team member. You can have as many team members in the CRM as you need. So you could even just assign the project to someone else. So how this powers your BRNE program is that your website, it can host your public-facing business directory plus any sort of form that you would need businesses to fill out. So again, that could be new business inquiries about businesses that might be interested in moving into your community. That could be any of your grant programs, and it could be a business assistance form for current businesses who are looking for assistance from your department. Those are going to auto populate the Blue Dot CRM. So it's auto matching to the business record, and there's no manual data required since it's going to auto add new contacts, new information that we might not have, or update the current records. From there, we can even create new projects. So that's where we'd go into some of those grant applications, incentive requests, prospective inquiries. It'll update the business record. So if we don't have a business record, it'll even automatically create a new one. And it's automatically going to update the directory listing. If they told us their address has changed, perfect. It's already updated on the CRM, on the public facing directory without anyone needing to go in there and update it. So this is essentially why we think a connected website and CRM can turn any of those everyday tasks into an organized BRNE program and kind of help and work as like an assistant within your department to be able to populate some of this information. So I'm going to walk through a couple examples for you guys on my side. So first thing I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with showing you a quick overview of the Blue Dot CRM. So the Blue Dot CRM, every time you log in, you're going to be taken to this homepage. This is our demo site, so it's only updated quarterly, but usually if I was another day, it would show you new businesses created and businesses closed in the last 30 days. So again, I know I mentioned that any of the businesses that we identify potentially as permanently closed, either by Google statuses or from any of our data sources, that's where this is going to populate. So it's going to be right in front of you, showing you businesses that might have closed in your community, and some of them you might not have known of. So this is a place for you to be able to see this. The area of the system that we're going to talk about is this business database section, and that's a lot of the activities I shared. But this reporting tab here also populates all the activity that comes in to the system. So emails can auto match based on the contacts that are on the profile. So you don't even have to map your emails to your CRM record. They can automatically pull in here, and you can continue to email the way you typically do in Outlook or whatever system that you currently use. You can send out group emails to different segments of businesses. So even if it's everyone who inquired to the city for the last year about potentially moving into the community, this would be a simple way to be able to email just those. Or if you want to email every business that has an expired business license, any type of segment you can easily do. And this is just our reporting dashboard automatically populates. So as we have some of those forms set up, those automatically show up here. So you have some information based on the work that you do. So the business database section can populate prospective records. So this could be people who might be interested in doing business in your community. We would just set up a form, and then all of those would auto-populate as they would come in with the contact information, potentially the name of business. And then again, any information you might want from those prospects. You might want to know right off the bat, Are you already working with a broker? Do you have a site identified? Are you looking to lease? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking for land? What sort of square footage are you looking for? Zoning requirements, those sort of questions. Ask them all right away. If someone's interested enough, they're going to fill out all of those questions, and then it automatically populates everything you need. So when you make that first initial contact to that prospect, you can already provide them value, which is really attractive to a business who might be interested in moving into a community, that you're prepared and you have the information that you need from them ahead of time before you even set up that initial first call. And then the active listings. So any of your active businesses, so you can have more businesses on the CRM profile than what we might have on the directory side. So on my top right-hand corner, I can go into my advanced search button. This just allows me to segment anything in the system. So in general, for instance, if I wanted to sort by all the businesses that are listed on the public-facing directory, I can see I only have 1,200 businesses out of these 4,800 that are listed on the public facing directory. Obviously, this is a lower number just because it's a demo environment, but sometimes every single LLC that is a property manager owner, that's not necessarily something that showcases your community that you have to have on a public facing business directory. Course, if someone asks or requests to be added, you can of course add them. But I usually just recommend not including them to start and expanding in the future if someone ever needs to. But it's a really quick way to be able to see any of those different segments. So quick way for me to be able to see which are listed on the directory or which are not. I could always go into any of the custom data I hold on the profile. So if I wanted to just sort by all the businesses that have a location employee count of more than 15, very quick way for me to be able to identify that list of businesses without needing to go through even looking through profiles. Since we have all that information on the profile, I can just reference that here. I can always go through any of the additional fields. Some of these are blue dot fields, but again, if there are certain metrics as a city that you track, this is where we would import those. If a business has licenses, you can even just sort by different types of licenses. So ones that are valid. We don't have very many on this, but here's a quick way to just see the ones that have valid business licenses. And then any of the specific fields with licenses we can import as well. And then you can also sort by activities. So if I wanted to sort by all the businesses that I did a business visit with, I can see that. And I can even sort by date ranges and such. And then another fun option that people really like is that we can also sort by map. So you can draw directly on the map if you want, or upload your own maps. So for instance, if you have a bid district and you want to be able to have that imported, this automatically updates as businesses open in the community. So anytime we see new businesses that populate, these maps get updated. So 55 is for now, but this is obviously going to continue to update as new businesses open. Also, these can be public facing as well. So if you want to have a map of just downtown businesses on your site, you can definitely do that as well. So any of these can be public facing as well, but a lot of the things like city council districts or things that you might just have as internal, this is how you can use to populate those. So I can show you quickly a business profile. So if I wanted to just click on any one of these businesses, I can see here my activity feed has a combination of all the communication internally with this business, as well as any tasks that are required, submissions, all of my different engagements. So you can see my record and communication with this business. This is really, really, really useful with turnover. Because we're able to just quickly see where things were left off the last time we communicated with these businesses. As a new economic development director, you can gain a little bit of insights into the relationship with this business prior to even meeting them for the first time. So, for instance, I did a business visit with them last summer, and I can see exactly all the information we have from this business visit. This template can be totally customized to exactly the fields that you'd ask. And then you can also see that we sent them an email about their business license renewal. You can see the response. I can also see the response from the business survey that they completed. And you can see the response directly on the profile, as well as a grant program check-in, an assistance form that they filled out, and then also 2 tasks that are assigned to me that I need to do. So I can always complete those tasks. Also send you email notifications. Then the next tab is projects. So even if this business started out originally as a prospect, you can see your whole history of all the projects you've worked on with these businesses. The reason we keep these separate in its own project bubbles is because you saw how busy the activity feed can get. So if I ever just want to access information directly about this small business grant, and I maybe just want to see the documents that they submitted, if there's any specific details with the start date, completion, project size, I wouldn't have to go dig up that old application. All this information auto-populates into this project. And then you can customize your statuses, assignees, types of projects directly based on the project. So it keeps it in its own little bubble, but like umbrella, but it's directly still linked to the profile. So you can always go in here and get whatever you might need, but then just see the details of the project that you're working on. And then the last tab is profile. So this profile, this is where we have the public profile section, which is the only information we have listed on the public facing directory. So you can choose to unlist it from the directory. You can see the directory profile if you want to be able to access that at any time. See their hours of operation, if they have any services or anything here. This is a business I made up, so I don't have websites and things. But this is what we would keep on that public facing profile for any of those businesses. You can also have your contact details. Those are kept internal so that people are not having this information directly on the profile. If they have a license, it would show up here. And then any of the custom data fields that are filled out, you can obviously search those at any time. And then you can associate businesses with different properties in your community, labels. Anytime a business has taken a survey, it's automatically going to show up directly on the profile, notes, documents, and then you can also link businesses together. If there's this one I have like a manufacturing site and then also like the headquarters. So you can have them linked. So you can see that there's a lot of information that can be stored directly on your internal system. And then showcasing the public side links to the same database. So you can keep this really comprehensive view of all of your activities and profile as linked to projects directly linked to your public facing site. So jumping over, I will show you this in a moment, but I wanted to show you, we have this site built as an example. So this is just directly on our site, and I'll show you a couple other examples with some other communities. But essentially, the directory can sit directly on your site. No one needs to know that it's a Blue Dot site except us. You can have a welcome message if you'd like. So this is just an example of a welcome message. Definitely not required, but it's something you can have if you'd like to have directly on your site. Any of these listings, you can see here if I wanted to go over and search, I have that same bid district that I showed you on the CRM directly on this public facing site. So I can see just the businesses within this area. You could even just embed this view on a different page if you wanted to. In categories, I could go through and I could sort by any of the different categories that I might want to. So we have some communities that even embed different pages, such as different restaurants on a certain page. I'll switch over for a moment to show you. This is Missouri City, Texas. They have all these different pages embedded. So if I wanted to click on one of these, I can see directly their site. And just see the restaurants. But you can go into any one of those different pages and see the different pages there. So you can see all those different options. I am logged in as a user, so I can edit or delete. Nobody else can see this except me and then you when you have a login. But when a business can go in here and choose to make any edits. And then before they can do so, there's just a little button here that says give your name and email address, and submit is not allowed until you've submitted that request. And then again, you are able to have that show. You'll get that email and then it'll be live once you've made that change. Couple other things with the directory that I wanted to showcase is that businesses can also list promotions and also list jobs. So businesses can host any job. They can be really simple, whether it be just like the shift manager role. So if I wanted to scroll down, I can see the detail of the job here. So having a centralized location for businesses to be able to submit their jobs is a really simple way to do so. All they need to do is click on the link to apply. So we don't have it directly embedded on the site. It'll take them directly to where they want the applicants to go, and they can access this role. Jobs can be listed for different periods of time. So you can set an expiration date if you want to. I think we can go as far as October, 90 days, and then it'll automatically remove after 90 days for those. And then the other thing that businesses can also post is they can post promotions. So it's kind of a perfect time that we're doing this webinar, because I also wanted to show you an example for McHenry, Illinois. Worked with them the last few years, but McHenry, Illinois does this thing called Shop McHenry Day, which is 8/16. I think it's their area code. And they do an amazing job of getting businesses to list promotions, 8/15, sorry, on their site. So what they do is that they have all these different promotions listed. So they can just send everybody directly to their website to see all the different promotions that are possible that businesses have posted. So businesses can submit all of these. If they want to submit a photo, they definitely can. But you can click on any one of these listings and see here that Bigsby Coffee is doing they're doing a block party from 12 to 5 on August 15th. Sounds fun. Different games. They even have camel rides. That's fun. But they do a really nice job of having all of their listings directly linked to the promotions that exist for within the community. And again, those promotions will disappear automatically, so the business does not have to worry about coming back here and removing it. And then they can also list jobs as well. So it's a one centralized spot, and it makes it really simple for the city of McHenry to not have to direct people to a lot of different locations. They just need to link people to their normal site, that's thinkmchenry.com. And their business directory is linked right at the top, so then they can have their promotions, their jobs, listings. We see a lot of communities do promotions for different times of the year, such as if you're doing a restaurant week. That's a really fun use case that you can have the deals that come in for the restaurant week automatically posted on that promotions tab. Then you don't have to maintain or update it every time or reach out to the businesses. They can update it automatically, and then you just have to approve it and it goes live. So really love some of these different use cases with the directory and using the tool that we already have. And again, if they wanted to go in here and make a change, like they told us that their address has changed, it'll automatically update the CRM once you've approved that update. So then we keep all the records current. So this is what the directory can look like directly embedded on your site. And then the next thing I talked about was also those forms. So I realized I did not refresh it since I tested this out right before we jumped on. So I can also use the business assistance form. So as someone who would be coming new to the site, this is what it'll look like. So this shows the city name, New Demo City, and this logo. That's just because this is the logo and that's our name. So your site will show your city name and your city logo here. So for instance, if I wanted to fill this out, what I can do is I could type in my business name. If my business name doesn't exist, it would offer me to, create a new business, but I can provide my business name. I can share my, main contact information. So I'm just going to be Bethany today. I've been leave too many times. Write a phone number. and I can press save. And now she's going to be a contact on that profile. And then I could share the details of my request so the city can contact me. So I'm going to add 20 employees. Are there any local incentives or workforce programs that could help? And then I could even select a couple times that work best for me. But again, these are questions I made up. If you have a form or you have questions that you want to collect, we just go question by question and we set it up together. Going here, I press submit. That means if I go back to my directory, my CRM, I can see in the survey section, I created that business assistance form. I can go in here and see the respondents. Just give it a second because I just did it. And I can see here that I just got this record in. And all the information that I just provided automatically shows up here. I'm not going to show you my email, but it also sent me an email with the submission. And it created a project assigned to me with this as well. So I could go in here and I could click View Project. And this automatically populated the description of the project with the request from the person. It assigned 2 tasks to me, one for 2 days from now to make sure I reach out to the business requesting help. So I'm going to get an email I got an email today, but I also get one on August 14th. This task was assigned to me. And then on the 19th, just to make sure that this business has the resources needed. That's just a quick example, but obviously you could do this for different grant program phases. You could do this for site selection to make sure you've coordinated with other staff members, whatever that looks like. You can assign the type of project, the assignees internally. So if Matt is also going to work on this project with me, I can assign it to him. And then I could also, once I've helped and done what I need to do, I could say that I completed this task. I could press save, and then it's automatically going to be updated to completed. But in the documents section, it's automatically going to upload the survey, so the submission that came through. A little bit more helpful when you see the big project view, kind of looks like an Excel spreadsheet. So if you've been managing any programs or requests like this via spreadsheet, it's really simple for us to import this in for you. Could click on, any one of these different records, for instance. So for the small business grants, I can see the documents via the survey automatically got uploaded. In my custom data, I can see any of the questions I requested. Via this form, can auto-populate these different areas. So if you're asking questions like this, and then also any of the additional information will populate. So you can always sort by all the businesses and certain statuses, businesses assigned to you, like tasks assigned to you, all that fun stuff. But your website can be the host for all of this. So an example here, I know I showed a screenshot of it, but just wanted to show you the incentive application automatically can be embedded directly on your site. And they also have an example for a new business interest form. So for new businesses that might be interested in moving into White House, they can fill out this form and it automatically creates that record directly in Blue Dot. So tons of use cases, and I'm always seeing new grant opportunities or forms on sites. I think I had 2 meetings about it yesterday. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the system and how we can help you with those BR&E needs and directly embed it directly onto the site that Golden Shovel provides.
Thank you so much, Lee. That was fantastic information. Your guys' tools are so easy to work with, and we have a lot of clients that are embedding them on their website. So we've seen them in action and they work so well.
Chris, great question. So Chris just asked, seems to overlap with Chamber of Commerce. Can we share an account with our chamber? Yes, I've seen that before. You could even have just like the list of the chamber members if they would want to just embed that site directly on their website, and then you'd want to have a list of all the businesses in the community. You could totally share a directory. Obviously, there are some nuances on the internal side when it comes to like if you want to share emails and such, but those are examples we can walk through together. But I have definitely seen shared accounts. So yeah, definitely reduces a cost hurdle for communities that have budget constraints. And if there are any other questions that come up where you'd want to do a one-on-one session with me, I'd be happy to walk through it. I manage all of our community relationships. Chris, how's this work with Zoom Prospector? So we don't automatically import, we can import any data that you would have from Zoom Prospector, but we don't have an integration currently set up with them. So we can always get fancy with like an SFTP transfer with data and such. So yeah, we can talk about how those two systems work together. Definitely had that conversation before. So, all right. Well, I can hand it over to Bethany to close things out. But again, thank you guys for your attention and questions. This has been really, really fun.
Thank you again for presenting. We really appreciate your time and your contributions. Again, we recommend that everyone learn more about Blue Dot's tools. At Golden Shovel, of course, they fully integrate with our website. So if you are a client and want to learn more, speak with your gatekeeper as well. In addition, of course, if you are not a Golden Shovel client, we would love to support you. So you can learn more about our services at goldenshovelagency.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.